Get ready to embark on a jaw-dropping journey through the cosmos as we uncover the astronomical price tags attached to NASA's most extravagant and groundbreaking programs. Get ready to witness the true price of reaching beyond our earthly abode, because when it comes to NASA's most expensive programs, the sky is not the limit. NASA has accomplished many objectives during the last 60 years, and it continues to seek solutions to some of science's most vexing questions as it adapts to a changing world. But at what cost? In this video, we'll take a look at some of NASA's most expensive programs to date. While it may be easy to pick a favorite among NASA's many accomplishments, the price tag might leave you wondering if the expense was worth it. 1. Galileo, estimated cost $1.6 billion. Galileo, named after the great Italian scientist, began its journey toward the solar system's largest planet in 1989. In December 1995, it became the first ever spacecraft to orbit the planet Jupiter. While the planet itself is fascinating, Galileo even witnessed the massive impact of comet Shoemaker-Levy 9. Crucial information was gathered about its moons, one of which, Europa, with its seas of water hidden behind an icy crust, is one of the contenders to house life in our solar system. 2. Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer, estimated cost $2 billion. The ANS-02, or Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer, is an actual highly complex piece of equipment that can be found on the International Space Station, delivered there by the Space Shuttle Endeavour in 2011. The ANS-02, created by Nobel laureate and particle physicist Samuel Ting, is as advanced as anything you'll find in a particle accelerator on Earth. It was designed to detect antimatter and find data that could help solve the puzzle of dark matter. 3. Hubble Space Telescope, estimated cost $2.5 billion. The Hubble Space Telescope, named after Edwin Hubble, one of the best astronomers of the 20th century, had a rocky start after being sent into orbit with an error that reduced the quality of the images it captured. The miscalculation was minuscule, in the range of microns, or approximately 1/50th the width of a human hair. Still, it happened to be devastating for the delicate piece of technology. As such, NASA had to send in astronauts to repair the flaw by inserting tiny mirrors into Hubble's optical field. Hubble started working without a hiccup after that, and over the next 2 decades, the telescope has provided us with the most incredible photographs ever taken of our universe. Hubble examines the cosmos 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That means it has witnessed some fantastic cosmic phenomenon every day of the year for the past 31 years, including your birthday. 4. Curiosity, estimated cost $2.5 billion. Curiosity is, beyond a doubt, the most advanced probe to ever visit our planetary neighbor, Mars, although it is by no means the first. At any moment of the day, you have the opportunity to look at the current terrain Curiosity is investigating, as well as the weather it might be experiencing, and it's incredible to see. Curiosity's objective was to learn more about the planet's geology and climate to address one of astronomy's most pressing questions: is Mars suited for human life? And if it isn't, was it suitable at some point in our past? Up to this point, the answer to the first question is a definite no, while the answer to the second looks to be inconclusive. 5. Cassini-Huygens, estimated cost $3.26 billion. NASA launched the Cassini-Huygens mission in 1997 to explore Saturn, the most magnificent of the gas giants in our planetary system. The spacecraft was named after Italian and Dutch astronomers Giovanni Cassini and Christian Huygens. After a 7-year trip, Cassini was launched into orbit above Saturn and gathered vital information about the planet's rings, satellites, and atmosphere. Cassini's passenger, the European Space Agency's Huygens probe, detached from the primary craft on Christmas Day 2004 and successfully landed on Titan, one of Saturn's moons. This was the first landing accomplished in the outer solar system and the first landing on a moon other than our own. 6. Global Positioning System, estimated cost $12 billion. The U.S. Air Force operates the Global Positioning System, GPS, a space-based radio navigation system controlled by the U.S. government. It can identify any 3-dimensional location to meter-level exactness and time to 10 nanosecond reliability anywhere in the world minus 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. GPS is made up of 3 segments: the control segment, the space segment, and the user segment. To facilitate higher spacecraft autonomy and more sophisticated Earth tracking applications, NASA's commitment to spearhead the future in scientific discovery, aeronautics research, and space exploration necessitates the proactive development and implementation of several GPS applications. 7. SLS and Orion, estimated cost $23 billion. The SLS, NASA's Space Launch System, is a mega heavy lift propulsion system developed by NASA that lays the groundwork for human space exploration beyond our solar system. The SLS is the only rocket with the power and capabilities to send the Orion spacecraft, complete with cargo and astronauts, to the moon in a single mission, and it is set to launch in early 2022 for now. NASA will use a configuration known as Block 1 for the launch of Artemis I, the first combined flight of SLS and Orion. The SLS will have a maximum thrust of 8.8 million pounds, 15% more than the Saturn V rocket. For Artemis I, the Block 1 configuration will send a crewless Orion spacecraft 40,000 miles further than the Moon, 280,000 miles from Earth. 8. Apollo Space Program, estimated cost $110 billion. The Apollo program began in the 1960s within the same lifetime as humankind's first ever flight. NASA created the Apollo Command Module specifically for this program. It was a capsule that could accommodate up to 3 astronauts. The astronauts traveled to and from the Moon in the command module. It was far more extensive than the Mercury and Gemini spacecraft, and the astronauts inside had plenty of room to move about, depending on the notion of plenty, as the crew space was about the size of a car. The lunar module, a separate spacecraft, was utilized to land on the Moon. This craft transported astronauts from lunar orbit to the surface of the Moon and back to orbit. 9. International Space Station, estimated cost $150 billion. The International Space Station is a technical marvel and a symbol of what people from many different countries can do in working together. The International Space Station, ISS, is the largest artificial object in space. It can even be seen with the naked eye if the conditions are perfect. It provides one-of-a-kind conditions for conducting scientific experiments and studying the effects of long periods in space on humans. The International Space Station's first component was launched into orbit by Russia in November 1998. The Russian Zarya control module was launched by a Russian rocket. 2 weeks later, in orbit, the Space Shuttle Endeavour, carrying the U.S. Unity node, made contact with Zarya. The crew then connected the Zarya module to the Unity node. 10. Space Shuttle Program, $209 billion. The Space Shuttle program in the 1970s gave birth to the world's first orbital space shuttle that could be reused instead of rockets, which could only be used once and were disposed of after each launch. It consisted of an external tank, 2 external rockets or boosters, and the famous orbiter vehicle, one of the most well-known feats of engineering ever constructed. 5 orbiters were built throughout the project's 3 decades of activity: Atlantis, Endeavour, Discovery, Challenger, and Columbia. Unfortunately, the last 2 were destroyed during operations, the only significant mishaps in an otherwise successful sequence of missions. As we reach the culmination of our thrilling journey through NASA's most ambitious and costly programs, we are left in awe of the immense dedication and vision required to explore the final frontier. From the colossal undertaking of the Apollo moon missions to the awe-inspiring Hubble Space Telescope, these 10 programs have pushed the boundaries of human achievement and redefined our understanding of the cosmos. If you found our video informative, kindly subscribe to our channel so you won't miss out on our videos.